Hey all. We're in Englewood. Good old Englewood. Irish, how are ya? Vertical stream. Sorry. Yeah, so we're in Englewood. If you haven't figured that one out yet. I thought that was Robbie the RoboCop there for a second, but that's just another short dude. They're arresting this dude. I got bootlicker George over here screaming at me from Broadway. Put down your fucking phone. Oh no, it's over there. This guy calling me a bitch. Put down your phone, bitch. Hey, fuck you too, fucking bootlicker. Fuck you. Have another brewski, you fucking drunk. Yeah, fuck you too. Why don't you come over here and suck a cop dick, fucker? Come suck some cop dick. What? It would knock you down? Come on, come suck some dick. No, fuck you. Come suck some dick, buddy. You want to be made a fool of? This isn't the stupid crew, we'll just say that. Oh, he's gonna take him to the PD.
Who's that guy yelling at you for?
Oh, he's calling me a bitch and telling me to put my phone down, and he's probably a little intoxicated on the public sidewalk in Englewood.
He might be.
Just saying. So now they're gonna go collect some evidence. So they got this dude in handcuffs back here. I don't know, maybe some dope. No, Englewood likes me recording them now. They wanna show off now. I can't see shit in this vertical stream, and I didn't mean to do this, so. Yeah, he's got his title there on the hood. I don't know, stolen vehicle, I don't know. You never know. But I will tell you, Englewood, oh man, boy, do I have some catching up to do with you guys over here. Holy smokes. So if you haven't heard or saw my community post, Sam Watson, chief of police, he's thrown in the towel. He's retiring. And I really kind of hope he takes all of this command staff with him. And probably at least half of this crop of new cops over here. Because they got some fucking dummies over here. Oh, I guess that guy decided to leave. Maybe Moe's Original Barbecue didn't want that attention brought to them out there on the public sidewalk that they gotta have a permit for. People to sit out there and get all shit-faced and take on the public. This really sucks for this business, though, you know. So yeah, no plates. I'm sure that was the reason for the stop. Stolen vehicle? Better than that? He's in handcuffs. Okay, well, why is he in handcuffs? Come on, I could be your PIO if you do it right. They don't know. See, now this case, they won't screw up. They're going to put this guy on an investigation hold, while other people that should be put on investigation holds don't get put on investigation holds. I got wind earlier today that somebody was recording a traffic stop, so that's good news. She's speaking Spanish to him. That's why they're going to take him to the PD, because they don't have an interpreter. Yeah, so Moe's, I don't know, did they hide the guy behind the vehicle? Or did they get him off the patio? Oh no, he's still over there. Let's check him out. Let's give Moe's a little promotion. There he is. He wanted to hide behind the vehicle. He's drunk as shit. Fucking moron. There's Moe's for you. He ain't flipping me off now. Moe's Original Barbecue. Their food is shit anyway. That figures they only got that one guy sitting on their patio on a Friday night. Oh, here we got some more drunk bitches over here. They're drunk as shit. They're drunk as shit, posing for the camera because the drunk fuck next to him wants them to pose. Oh my god. What a bunch of dumb bimbos. Alright, so they're leaving with that guy, and they're going to, gonna take him to the station and interrogate him a little bit more. So yeah, who knows? I don't know, one of the cops had a title in his hand. Dude back here at Moe's Barbecue wants to start shit with me. Then he figures out that I can dole out the shit, and I guess he's done starting shit. We could do an interview from the sidewalk of the drunk dude. So, what is she gonna do? Get in this vehicle and drive it away? He speaks Spanish. That cop speaks Spanish. Yeah, he's trying to help her. There's a cocksucker over there. He's flipping me off now. Hey, I can do that too, you dumb fuck. Come suck some cock. They're waiting for you. Fuck you, dick sucker. Fuck you. Maybe your friend there will let you suck his dick instead. Hey, you got some drunk dudes over there. You probably better address that. Take her, man. Leave her stranded. We're the Englewood PD. We did the best we could today. Dude, why don't you just, like, get out of the drive here? and go push your buttons over there with that drunk dude. Go push his buttons. You'll enjoy that. Uh-huh. Giggle, giggle, chuckle, chuckle. Hey, you okay? You okay? You okay? There's Moe's where you can go and get overserved. Create some disorderly on your public sidewalk. Hey, he's leaving, cocksucker! I guess he's done. Turn signal. I used my turn signal today. I did my job. Just one more reason to never go to Moe's. That place sucks. It's horrible. But there is a really good place right down the road here. A new Chinese restaurant that replaced another Chinese restaurant. It's called Wok Spicy. W-O-K. Spicy. Wok Spicy. So if you're local or in the area, South Broadway, down in Englewood, go to Wok Spicy. It's good stuff. Good prices, good portions. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, well, how is everybody? Hang tight. Let's get some air going. Let me push my buttons, get back in my car like that cop. I want to be so cool and get in my car and push my buttons. Fab Daddy, what's up? Effin' Reality, how are ya? Fab Daddy's super hot. What's your temperature? What's your details, mate? Well, thanks, Tony. I just was watching the Englewood Popo and saw a little action, so you can never be too safe recording the Popo. Hey, if anybody has missed my most recent community post, please go check it out and join us for a live stream tomorrow. Wait, today's only Friday. Sunday at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time with Fluke Dog. Fluke Dog from the UK. I don't know if any of you that are in here are familiar with Fluke Dog, but if you're not, you should be. He's one cool dude. And we're going to do a live stream. So we've been long supporters of each other's channels from afar, and the wonderful internet can connect us like instantly. And so I spent some time talking to Fluke yesterday on Independence Day. And we had a great conversation. And I reached out to him because he's been absent from the tubes of you for a while. And he's back. And he's number one, he's captivating to listen to. He's very articulate, very intelligent man. And on the freedom scale, he is right there at the top. And so it's going to be a good discussion. We're going to kind of compare policing in the UK, just outside of London is where he's at. We're gonna play some videos, one of his videos from a recording that he did outside one of their military compounds. where the police showed up because of public photography, and he stood his ground. LD1 Kenobi 114. What? Oh, you guys, that's warm. That's super warm. Irish Rover, thank you for handling this chat. Sorry, I didn't mean to give you a vertical stream today. It just happened that way. Yeah, so join Flick Dog and I on Sunday at 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. That'll be a lively discussion, I'm sure. Plenty of giggles to be had. And I'm going to make a little bit of an announcement on that stream, but since we're all here right now, I'll go ahead and tell you. On Monday, the Denver City Council will give the final vote to approve settlement lawsuit negotiation amounts of $100,000 in one case and $30,000 in another case that I brought forward and sued the city and county of Denver, with the main defendant as the chief of police, Ron Thomas. The other lawsuit that's paying out $100,000 is a lawsuit that my husband and myself filed against the city and county of Denver and a slew of cops. There's also a slew of cops involved in the other lawsuit as well. But we can't talk a lot of details, but this is what is public. And so I can talk about what is public until that final vote happens on Monday. So yes, it's a win in the win category. However, am I really excited about this win? The number one thing that I'm most excited about is that I've got established case law against the chief of police of the Denver, Colorado Police Department that shows pattern and practice of deliberate retaliation for First Amendment. Neither of these lawsuits involve arrests, interestingly enough. Haven't even started unraveling those yet. Stay tuned. These two lawsuits are very specific to very, very deceitful, deceptive, collaborative behavior behind the scenes to take me down, to retaliate against my husband. I mean, imagine cops in the United States of America being that dirty. We don't have dirty cops here. Back the blue. Put your camera down, bitch. Come over here, bitch boy. Let me show you how it's done. So that's exciting news. In other news, real important news, I am carrying petitions in the city of Englewood. If you are a registered voter or know someone that is a registered voter in the city of Englewood, there are 2 citizen initiative petitions being carried right now, and I can do that. I don't have to live here. I don't have to have any association with Englewood whatsoever to lawfully carry petitions to ask people if they think it should go on the ballot this November for the citizens of Englewood to vote for their mayor. Give me a 1 if you think that's a noble cause. Give me a 2 if, Regan, you're wasting your time. Government sucks. No matter how hard you try, somebody else is going to get into office with their own agenda. Please give me lots of 1s, please. I'm doing my civic duty because this is why I feel most compelled to do it. Number 1, it's a citizen initiative. There's nothing better than seeing a group of people get active to try to redress their government in a more than 1 or 2 people effort. Okay, so I still feel compelled to help people put things on the ballot because voters should have a choice. Thank you, Snarky. You gave me a 1. That means a lot coming from you. I really appreciate it. And Cap, I know, but give me A for effort, please, on this one. Because here in Englewood, I do think it's crucial that these citizens be able to vote for their mayor. Per population size, Englewood and Grand Junction, which is 4 hours away, are the only two municipalities by population that do not vote for their mayors. And that's not, it shouldn't be that way. And on the flip side of that, Englewood is the only municipality that votes for their municipal judge. Now, there's no argument, hands down, 3 branches of government. Yes, people should be voting for judges and mayors. Okay, so that's the goal. So I need to get these petitions filled up. There's actually 2 petitions I'm carrying. That first one is to vote for mayor. The second one is a petition to put on the ballot the question, should a supermajority exist if a vacancy comes up on city council? Yes. Supermajority meaning there needs to be 4 votes of city council to appoint a replacement instead of 3. Okay? So they need a supermajority to replace those vacancies on city council. And these are both citizen initiatives, and I'm very happy and actually proud to do this. It's not every day that you get to connect with a group of people that have gone through all of the processes to make these happen, these petitions, and it's not easy, you guys. They look for ways to throw these out, to get rid of signatures, to discredit any effort for more transparency and for more process from the public. And this is important. So that's kind of what I was out here doing as well. And I just happened to run into some cops. But Englewood continues to have a pretty dysfunctional police department. And it is of concern, not only for the homeless community, but lots of people. And the stories are piling up. And Sam Watson knows it. And he knows the public exposure is getting harder and heavier for him to explain his bullshit, and the fact that he's got no control over his command staff, that has no control over these loose cannon cops out here on the streets and the things they're doing. They are botching cases. They are making shit up. They are shooting people with forgetting to put their body cams on, let alone activate them. They are helping each other out on calls by blocking each other's body cams as they beat the shit out of a guy back in October. Then they didn't want to release that body cam footage, and then they ignored my formal complaint. And Sam Watson did a presentation to the city council that didn't make a lot of sense about why all of a sudden, after we were asking for body cam footage, like 4 or 5 months later, there's a warrant issued for this person's arrest. Yeah, so you know what's going on over here in Englewood. And on that same note and that same case, where they beat the shit out of the guy that was trying to help the homeless woman back in October, not only did they botch that whole on-scene investigation, they continued it through the night and on their own collaborated with the Denver PD to go enter someone's home illegally that they identified as the suspect from earlier that night, who was not the suspect, who had nothing to do with anything from that call earlier that night. And the Denver police and the Englewood police made illegal entry into these people's home and then detained them for about 30 minutes. So Englewood's got a lot of problems. So does Denver. We could go super deep into Denver's issues, but the bottom line is always record the police. Right? Right. Is it dangerous? Yeah, it's dangerous. But freedom is dangerous, folks. Live dangerously. I hope you all had a good 4th of July celebration of our independence from tyranny. Yesterday was not a celebration for me. I made sure to not be in the public sphere at all because it's kind of the wild, wild west out here. Snarky. It's almost as dangerous as relationships. Yeah, I don't know about that. Thanks, Irish. You can just keep nuking them. So if you're in my chat for the first time, these are the rules. Don't hijack my chat. If you want to come in here and troll me, just send me an email instead. I may or may not read it, but you're not going to hijack my chat. And my mods have full control of the chat. So those are the house rules. Is Bokomo in here? There she is. Hey, thank you, my friend. Yeah, we got double duty. Awesome. I was going to check a message to see if I could go meet up with these individuals to sign my petition. No response yet. People are busy. Yeah, so about those lawsuit settlements, they were 1983 claims, civil rights violations. They did not go to trial because the city knew that they needed to negotiate their way out of that. And the bottom line is, once they agree to pay, that is a standard admittance of guilt, period. So I don't care how you view that. And the only reward in going to trial is a monetary award. So what's really cool about my attorney and the way he handles things is, number one, he doesn't fuck around. He's probably one of the smartest, if not the first, second, third, tops, maybe smartest attorney that can argue in federal court. Civil rights violation lawsuits, 1983 claims, are not easy. And because of his hard work, he refuses to negotiate any non-disclosure agreements. So that's what's cool about that. Matthew, Englewood dropped my homie on his face with his hands cuffed behind his back from about 3 feet in the air. It was 25 plus years ago. We were all minors. Yeah, they've definitely had a history. They're fighting body cams really super hard here in Englewood. They don't want to activate those body cams. Now, man, I'm sitting here and these cops just keep coming by me. It's so fascinating. This one's driving down the road with his yellow lights on. Why? Is he trying to do a traffic stop? Yellow rear flashing lights, but no front lights. As you get into these night shifts over here in Englewood, they don't have the smartest ones on duty. I don't know why they put the dumbest ones on the night shifts with the most action, other than they can hide and nobody's watching and nobody's questioning. But that is when some of the most serious responses are going on at night. So back to their body cam. Yeah, they're fighting body cams hard. You can't get footage here. They don't like the public transparency piece of the public, by law, having access to this body cam footage. But All of our new body cam law here got really stupid when they mandated that every agency have body cams by about this time last year. What they forgot to build into that were the rates they could charge for that body cam footage. And so the police are trying to rely on old law that gives them discretion to literally charge whatever they want for body cam footage. And they're ignoring portions of the new law that make it very clear that if you file a complaint against a law enforcement officer, that body cam footage is to be released within 21 days at no charge. Denver complies with that law, but not Englewood. Englewood just flat out denied it and ignored the law, and then turned around and issued a warrant for the guy. So they wouldn't have to release the body cam footage from back in October, when these cops on the night shift decided to beat the shit out of a guy, had no probable cause for any interaction with him to begin with. Give me just a minute here. But then, once they issued that warrant for that guy, he got picked up, living homeless, had asked me for help in trying to get that body cam footage released. Gets picked up, does 2 weeks or so in jail for felony assault on a peace officer. Right? I mean, that makes perfect sense. Cops beat the shit out of the guy. There's no body cam footage. Why not charge the guy with felony assault on a peace officer? That makes perfect sense. We see that all the time. And so he's got a big bond, sits in jail. His attorney makes a good case with the judge, and the judge releases him on a PR bond. Imagine that. Why? Because they don't have a case. So then the guy gets out of jail, and guess what? He's got his discovery, and he's got all the body cam footage. Next thing you know, Sam Watson's retiring. Gee, how did that happen? Then there's some other cases as well. That's just a couple of them. That's just tip of the iceberg. I really like it. It pleases me to no end that city governments and police totally underestimate me. She's crazy. She's dumb. She's dumb as a box of rocks. Listen to her. She doesn't know what she's doing. I love it. It's the best feeling in the world. Then there was this one time, some years back, like, I don't know, 2016, 2017, in Brush, Colorado. They had this chief of police. He was a dirty son of a bitch. he was covering up a lot of bad stuff, right? And it just so happened that this woman reaches out to me. I need help. I need help. This is a terrible situation. My life is ruined. Can you help me? This chief of police, dude, you don't have a stop sign. Let's just go with the flow of traffic now. This woman is in total despair. She's lost everything. She has nowhere to live. She's living in her car. Turns out that she thought it was a good idea to accept the advances from the chief of police in Brush, Colorado. Did I say his name? Travis Anderson? What the hell was his name? Something like that. You can Google this story. But anyway. So she's in the middle of a domestic violence situation because when she got tired of that chief of police, she went and found a new man. Well, that chief of police didn't like that. So that chief of police and that new man, they drummed up some charges on her. Imagine that. For domestic violence. Threw her in jail a few times. Now, mind you, this girl, she didn't have the best decision-making skills in men. I'm just saying, okay? But nonetheless, she got into a situation that she couldn't get out of because now she was buried criminally. And I don't even remember how she got my name. I don't know, probably YouTube or something. And so, this police chief, he just wasn't doing a very good job. And he wasn't listening to me prior to that girl reaching out. So I just told this girl, I said, look, here's what I can do to help you on the personal level. But I'm going to need you to go to a city council meeting. And I'd already been to these city council meetings in Brush, Colorado. These small towns in rural states. I mean, you know how that goes. So she and I showed up to the city council meeting. And needless to say, she wasn't dressed very conservatively. And she asked me, should I change my clothes? I said, no, girlfriend. Let's just go in there and we'll sit down. So we go in this city council meeting. You know, stupid me. And this nice, cute little young voluptuous thing who's had her life destroyed by now. Her and I, we sit down. The meeting's about to start, and in walks the chief of police. And I think he choked on his spit a couple of times. He went back out, he came back in, he went back out, he came back in. The meeting hadn't started. He's supposed to be at every city council meeting. And he came back in, and the meeting started, and they said the pledge and all that, got through the approval of the minutes, and he got up, walked out, and resigned the next day. We never had to go back to city council meeting. Not only did he resign, he did an interview with the local paper. This guy had already been in a shit ton of trouble in another jurisdiction, in another rural area of the state. Got him a job over here as the chief. But he did an interview with the press, with the local press, and said that he was completely done with law enforcement. He was going to go work for, I don't know, some window company And he wanted the whole world to know it. You know exactly why he did what he did. He wasn't listening to me. He should have listened. Sam, you should have listened as well several years ago. You should have been listening very intently for the last 6 months. Sam Watson, the chief of police in Englewood, Colorado, who has only been chief for 3 years. I mean, who goes and devotes their entire life to one agency since 1988 and only wants to be chief of police for 3 years? Nobody does that. Yeah. Watson is expired. So it'll be interesting. Will we make big change? No. It's the same thing back with that lawsuit. Will this produce all kinds of great change for the people? No, it won't. Because of idiots just like the drunk guy on the sidewalk. Put your camera down, bitch. It's the sheep, right? They beg for this. They want more of it. Even some of these older citizens in Englewood, they are so convinced and enamored with how nice some of these cops are in Englewood that they just cannot get over themselves, that the police just don't have enough support. They don't have enough cops in Englewood. They don't have enough money. They don't have enough help. They've got nothing. Those people are a bigger problem than the cops. We all know it. We all know it. So to say that getting rid of a few cops as a few others retire or quit or go to another agency in the same state, no, nothing's going to change with that kind of action. What's going to change, of course, is when they lose their entire pensions, when they lose all qualified immunity, when they have no union protection, when they are, most importantly, criminally charged for all of their illegal behavior and receive the same sentencing with an enhancer. I believe there should be a sentencing enhancing law, because police should be held to a higher standard, and they're not. And if they break the law, the penalty should, in a lot of cases, double, because you've abused your authority. The damage is done. There's no justice. There's no going back and fixing and undoing what you did. You did that damage, just like any other citizen who commits a crime against another. So that's why those lawsuit settlements are just not that exciting for me. Sure. Yep, we won, and we're like, I don't know, the 15th lawsuit in the past 10 years that hones in specifically on retaliation for speech. And I think this might be one of the first of those types of lawsuits that make case law in this state without an arrest. Both of these cases that are going to settle didn't involve arrests. They involved deep, deep, deceptive corruption behind the scenes. With these sergeants, with these commanders. Sure, the commander retired. So did the sergeant involved. Another sergeant went over to Sheridan. There's all these deep ties to the chief of police of Sheridan. You know, the Hispanic hero, Jeffrey Martinez over there in Sheridan, who used to be over in DPD District 4, where all of these lawsuits stem from. Okay? All these guys are butt buddies to the umpteenth degree. On the job, off the job. You got old Jeffrey over there at Sheridan. Shit was blowing up for him in Denver. He's a royal fuck up. He had to retire before he got disciplined. Something was going on. Nobody has that long of a career in Denver to go over to Sheridan unless there's something going on. This guy thinks he is the savior to the Hispanic community in the whole state of Colorado. So he's going to go over to Sheridan, and all of his buddies and family will reap the benefits of him being chief of police over there. He'll impress like 200 citizens of Sheridan, which of maybe 150 of them vote, maybe, in Sheridan, maybe. That place is long gone. There's absolutely no hope for Sheridan. Those people over there, they get everything they deserve and more. But you've got these Denver cops now going over there and taking over that police department with zero accountability, zero oversight. I mean, that's why nothing is going to change. So, yeah, I don't know. Have empathy. You want me to have understanding? Thanks, Ray. I think the Hispanic community is smart enough to understand how deep the corruption lies within police departments without having Jeffrey Martinez try to be the savior of the Hispanic community from his time at the Denver Police Department. And then let's talk about Chief Ron Thomas of the Denver Police Department. This guy, why he's chief of police in Denver, I don't know. Token guy? Yeah, Ron, you're the token guy. We get it. Because there are so many other people more qualified for your job than you. Ron Thomas was the chief of patrol when he decided to collaborate with DPD District 4 to ban me from the public meeting that's held at DPD District 4 called the Commander Advisory Board meeting. They didn't like the fact that I was outspoken in one of their online meetings during COVID. They were pissed off because other people came into the online meeting and participated in the chat that were associates of mine. Look, you come into a public meeting, you're responsible for your own behavior. I'm not responsible for what you do in a public meeting, but they were pissed because people were paying attention and people were starting to understand what the Denver Police Department was about in response to homelessness. And people had things to say. People came into that chat and left comments. There was nothing vulgar. There was not one cuss word used, either by me or anyone else that I could see in that chat. There was pushback from other people that were attending that meeting that told the police department they were uncomfortable in the meeting because I hijacked the meeting. Although Ron Thomas himself showed up at this online meeting. Not the commander of District 4, but the chief of patrol showed up to this meeting. Gee, I wonder why. Why did you do that, Ron Thomas? And then, why did you have dialogue with me in that online meeting? And actually, you were the escalator, you were the agitator, and everybody knew it. And I actually was just dumb and stupid, right? Like I usually am, because I can't articulate thoughts. I cannot speak at public meetings. I have no voice because you, the man, Ron, are much smarter than I. So it pissed him off. So what did they do? Behind the scenes, they worked with a city attorney, the city attorney for Denver's Department of Public Safety. She represents the whole Department of Public Safety in Denver, Colorado. Advises them in writing. Yeah, go ahead and ban her from the meeting. As long as we have it documented that she was disruptive in other people having to leave the meeting. This is an attorney. This is Denver's Department of Public Safety attorney. I don't know if she still has a job. But with Denver, they're self-insured. So what Denver does in any type of litigation, civil litigation, they represent themselves, you see. And so this poor attorney, all of a sudden, the whole case became a conflict of interest because now Denver cannot represent their attorney. They have to go hire an attorney firm
to represent the attorney. Then they have to go hire separate attorneys to represent all the cops involved. And guess who paid for all of that? Not the cops, not the attorney, the taxpayers. Denver is self-insured. This whole case, that one case, I guarantee you, cost them close to $1 million in attorney's fees for banning me from a public meeting. That's how stupid I am. That's how unthreatening I am. Right? The commander, the attorney, 2 cops, the CROs over there, who, we worked together for a while, but those 2 fuckers, like I told them, you're here to follow orders. You're out here being nice to us. You look and appear nice, but when the rubber meets the road, you'll fucking shoot me right between the eyes. And I repeatedly pretty much told them that the entire time that they were the community resource officers dealing with homelessness. And that's exactly what they did. They were ordered to write a synopsis of the meeting because they were the ones in the meeting letting people in and out of the meetings, right? So they run the online platform. And it's officers Jason Anderson and Jeremy Chavez over there that did all this. Yeah. They were instructed by their sergeant, Jimmy Martinez, who's now over in Sheridan working with Jeffrey Martinez. Could it get any deeper? Could it get any deeper to shut up that stupid woman with that camera? Why so much effort to silence speech and silence the camera? Why? Because they're doing it wrong. And they're going to continue to do it wrong. So those are just some details of that one case. But Ron Thomas, the chief of police, we never even got to depositions in this federal lawsuit. We were almost to depositions. We had been through the first round of discovery. And Ron Thomas had to turn over his emails. And he did confirm that he was fine with the plan that they had concocted to ban me from all future Commander Advisory Board public meetings. Yeah, until further notice. Until further notice. And it gets even better than that. That meeting happened in September that I attended. I went to go log into the October meeting and couldn't get into the meeting, right? So I sent the commander an email the next day. And I said, what's the reason that I can't get into this Commander Advisory Board meeting? And he put it in writing. Ms. Benson, you are banned until further notice from this public meeting because of your behavior. They never charged me with a crime. They never accused me of a crime. They didn't even try. This is how stupid these people in leadership are. This is how stupid they are. They should have at least tried to charge me with disruption of a public assembly. Something. They didn't even do that. The city attorney didn't even guide them to even initiate a charge. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, you've got 2 other cops drumming up warrants on me over in District 4. This is it. True story. It's all out there. These 2 other cops are drumming up warrants on me for recording in the public lobby. They're charging me with unlawful behavior on public property, while they're over here banning me from this meeting, and then several months later, targeting my husband. It's all true. They were spending so much time colluding and collaborating that it didn't matter what kind of crime was occurring anywhere in District 4. Okay? They had hundreds of man hours into figuring out how the hell we are going to take her down. All over the camera. All over the camera and my mouth. You got all these cops, the commander, the chief of The chief of patrol even doing that. Who now is the chief of police? Ron Thomas. He got promoted within a year after banning me from the meeting. The other chief, Payson, stepped down. Nobody really knows why Payson just up and quit, but he did. And Ron Thomas took over the whole Denver Police Department. That was his reward for being able to control that woman with the camera. No, the guy is not bright. And these are the people that are making the orders with the shit that rolls downhill. And we wonder why people are losing their lives at the hands of tyrants. No, we don't wonder. We know. So again, moral of the story, always record the police and use very unsavory speech when called for. Do it. Use it or lose it. Oh, Irish, what a terrible stream you're having to deal with. I'm sorry. Okay, so if anybody, again, is in Englewood or knows any voters in the city of Englewood that would like to sign these 2 petitions that I'm carrying, please connect me with them. Give me just a minute here. The holiday weekend is not the best time to be out collecting signatures, and I sure as hell wasn't going to the fireworks show last night in the city of Englewood. So, what's best about that lawsuit? I've got case law that shows practice and pattern by the very top guy, Ron Thomas, chief of police, supports the practice and pattern and actually participates in it of stifling speech. They do not want criticism. They sure as hell do not want their cops on camera. They don't want to be held responsible in public meetings with people that are redressing their concerns with how they're doing their policing. They allow their officers to retaliate. And this is just tip of the iceberg. We haven't even got into O'Neill and all the shit he's done to me. Those 2 bogus arrests in 10 days last year at this time, with one of those cases already being dismissed. And him confiscating my phone. Nobody knows why. They hung on to it. I just got it back a couple weeks ago. You guys were with me on that live stream when I went to go get my property back. Nobody knows. We'll explain. Nothing. They just held my property. That's the kind of leadership that the Denver Police Department, they want that. That's what they foster. So again, there's more case law for practice and pattern. And what is really good about this particular case law is that it is the chief of police. He is the defendant. It is Regan Benson. It is the case of Regan Benson v. Ron Thomas et al. He is the main culprit behind it all. So, and he's still just collecting his pay, just doing his thing, looking good. Guy can't talk for shit. He can't articulate things. He always looks like he's about to cry. He never knows really what to say. And I don't know, just a token boy, I guess. I don't know. Collects over $200,000 a year plus benefits. Is anything going to change? No. He'll retire when he's ready. Mayor Johnston loves the guy because he can get him to do whatever he wants on the fly. What else is good about this? Well, the no recording signs came down off all the doors at the substations, the DPD substations. So will they stay down? I don't know. I think it's an effort right now to look good. And I think they'll still remain arbitrary enforcement. I don't foresee a policy change. Even though, Denver in their IA investigations, when they have a cop that's completely rogue and off the rails like O'Neill, when he arrested me and then tried to set me up with contraband in one of those same 2 arrests, right? And got in my wallet here and took my cash out of my wallet and brought it into the holding cell and slammed it down on the little metal sink and said, "This is your cash, take it with you." And then another cop who was actually transporting me to jail is the one that called him out on it after I stuffed it down my bra because I didn't have anywhere to put it. And I announced it as the other cop was putting me in the car, and the other cop said, "Ma'am, you can't, that'll be considered contraband if you take that into the jail." And you should have seen O'Neill's face melt. Another cop, not a sergeant, his subordinate, called him out in front of him. I'll bet you that guy doesn't have a job anymore. I've never seen or heard another word about that guy. I wrote him a commendation. I'll bet you got shit canned. And so with that, I file a complaint about that. And Denver's response was, "We don't have a policy that says he can't do that, so we're clearing him." I shit you not. That was the response from the Internal Affairs investigation that went to the Office of the Independent Monitor in Denver that said, it's okay. It happens. People can take money in there after our cops go ahead and go through their stuff and then give it back to them and maybe lace it with something or get ready to set them up for a contraband charge in jail. Because once you get to the jail, according to Denver PDIA, they search you. So it can't be considered contraband. Except, we forgot the part that you'd already been arrested and searched, and we seized all of your property except this cash that now all of a sudden ended up down your shirt because you had nowhere to put it. Oh, yeah, no, you wouldn't have gotten charged with contraband for that in the jail. And we don't have a policy that says our cop can't do that. So it's all good. That's how they cleared O'Neill. Yeah. Sergeant Brian O'Neill, who is now in DPD District 3, is one of probably number 1, the most dangerous cop on my list to expose in the Denver Police Department. This guy, he's got little teeny tiny balls, and I called him some dirty names out on the street because he's just a dirty, filthy pig, and he got butthurt, and he retaliated, and luckily I'm still alive, not beaten, not dismembered. I still have a voice. Nobody's tried to kill me outside of recording the police, so I'm still doing good. But this cop is dangerous, okay? And I want everybody to know his name. I want everybody to know where he works. I want him on camera as often as possible. Him and John Shull over in District 4, the other dirty son of a bitch that targeted my husband. We're going to spend some time talking about these cops and some other steps that I can take to redress my government. I will probably get nowhere with it, but that's okay. It'll be an adventure. You never know what can happen on a Regan Benson live stream. We'll see what cops drum up some charges next to throw me in jail. But as of right now, those 2 arrests that O'Neill orchestrated on me last year, the other one's set to go to trial in August. They keep delaying it. It's really interesting. Brian O'Neill he's not available for trial on certain days. And then they're also trying to subpoena the chief of police to testify, and the city's telling my attorneys that he doesn't have to. Yeah, It's going to be interesting to see if this trial gets moved again in August. And this was for recording in the police lobby with O'Neill being called by the cop at the window who thought he was cute. I'll just call O'Neill. He'll come out here and arrest her. And he did, right? They've since taken all the signs down from the doors. They already tried to charge me twice with it, with those other warrants that District 4 drummed up on me that the DA dismissed. So they've already dismissed the two of the three charges for unlawful conduct on public property for recording in the police lobby, recording my interactions with other sworn officers, where we have a law in Colorado that says you can record the police on duty and all of your interactions with them. That's Denver. That's where we're at with Denver. And then there's Englewood. Englewood thinks I'm stupid too. And I really like it. It's working out well. They invested a shit ton of man hours into convincing an allied security guard that he was a victim of harassment after he harassed me and told me that I couldn't use the public bathroom, and he ends up on camera. The body cam footage in my discovery, which, by the way, I get this discovery from the DA that's got a corrupt file in it. All the discovery isn't there. The DA is telling me, oh my goodness, a lot of people want you prosecuted for this crime of harassment. Oh, and by the way, we don't have to have a victim because there's no VRA, Victim Rights Act, on the harassment charge at the state level for this. So we're going to go ahead and prosecute you without a victim. I'm not even kidding. This is really happening. But the Englewood PD, they send their top gal. They send this real smart cop they've got over there at the Englewood PD. They send her over into the library to have a conversation with the librarians about the security guard that wants to press harassment charges on me. But now the case is revolving around the librarians because the librarians are falling under a protection order. And Regan can't go in the library because of the librarians, not the victim. Got these dumb bitch librarians on body cam footage with Englewood's top female cop. And every time they start saying something stupid, she starts rubbing her arm over the body cam, right? So a lot of it can't get picked up, except most of it got picked up. And they're just going off about how frightening I am. I've been very frightening for many years over there in Englewood, because I've been in the library, maybe half a dozen times in the last 4 to 5 years. And one of these librarians is super pissed off because the cops didn't validate her feelings during COVID when I showed up in that library to do an interview in a private room with a homeless woman, and I wasn't wearing a mask. She's pissed. And she told those cops that they were just big jerks because they didn't recognize her feelings. And she was very scared. I'm not even making this up. And to boot, it's all on video. It's all on video. And this same librarian, she tells the cop, I'm obsessed with this. I have to watch her channel all the time so I know what to expect. On body cam. This is the case that Englewood is going to hang their hat on. They already tried to have me prosecuted for the unauthorized practice of law. Not prosecuted, more like persecuted by the Colorado Supreme Court, because I took a homeless woman to court, and Ian Griffin claimed that I was practicing law because he got his feelings hurt because he told me I had to leave the public building and I wouldn't leave. So he filed a UPL complaint, unauthorized practice of law, on me, and they did this big long investigation for over a year, and then they came back and said, well, yeah, we think you did it, but we're not going to do anything about it But we're going to hold this over your head, because next time we get a complaint on you, we're going to bring this back up. And then we're going to have you sanctioned by the Supreme Court, and we're going to take you into a hearing, and we're going to have a judge rule that you got to stop the unauthorized practice of law, which essentially shuts down your nonprofit. So, yeah, but that's where we're at with the UPL case. We think you did it, but we're just going to go ahead and let it go right now. After a little over a year investigation. These people, government, you guys, these are true stories, and this is all documented. And so Englewood failed at that. So now they're going to charge me with harassment with no victim statement, no interview from the victim. They've got a phone call from the victim who calls over to dispatch in Englewood and says, yeah, Jonathan, the city prosecutor, told me to call. I was harassed by this woman named Regan Benson, and oh my goodness, I couldn't believe what was happening to me. Oh yeah, we know who she is. Yeah, we did. Yeah, that's what she does. Oh, so did she threaten you? Well, yeah, she called me some names, but I noticed that that's not on the video that she put on her YouTube channel. Liar. She called me some names. So those are the dispatchers over at the Englewood PD that if Regan calls 911 for an elderly man down on a sidewalk, they don't send medical. They send the cops instead to negotiate whether or not medical should come. I mean, it's all because of the camera. Every bit of it. And it's all retaliation. Every bit of it. So, and it costs money. I've been to court 3 times already on this harassment charge, and it's clear the hell out at the Arapahoe County Courthouse. And it's an hour drive round trip if traffic is good. Okay? So, an hour there in drive time plus court time. 3 appearances. They played games with the discovery, right? I finally get the discovery, and it's just shit. There's just nothing in this discovery except these few things, along with another corrupted file on a CD-ROM. Right? So now I go back for the 4th time. So 4 appearances, and I still haven't even entered a plea yet. The judge, I don't think the judge is very appreciative of her courtroom being turned into a circus by the channel Frauditor Troll, who ensured that his supporters, all documented, right, through dispatch over here in Englewood, called Englewood to encourage Englewood to file those charges. And so now the DA has to go through all of this stuff about all these people that want me charged with harassment, except the victim. Okay, this shit, they do this on purpose, right? They do it to wear you down and to take you down. But you got to roll with it. If you're flying over the target, you can expect this. If you're getting tyrants on camera, you can expect this. Cop watching and holding government accountable is not for the faint or the weak. So what I'm going to have to end up doing is hiring an attorney again. None of the attorneys I want have time right now, so I don't know what's going to happen. And the judge told me at the last appearance, so Ms. Benson, I'll give you another 30 days since you didn't accept the DA's offer to plead guilty to harassment. So if you don't come back with an attorney, we're just going to have to set this for trial. Oh, really? Well, I haven't even entered a plea. So, I mean, I didn't say any of that, but, this judge is a decent judge, but I really don't think she's appreciating this. And it's just going to get dumber with what the prosecution is trying to do. By the time I do get an attorney in there, I don't know where we'll be. So, yeah. So that next appearance, I think, is July 19th. So, yeah. Demons rarely like to be exposed because they can be cast out. What's going on in the chat? Bill of Rights. What's happening? Snarky, thank you for that super chat. I really appreciate that. Very kind of you. Yeah, the documentary about retarded cops and their funny stories. No, they're about stupid cops, stupid and dangerous cops. God, some of these, I mean, they are the dumbest people on the planet. They go recruit the dumbest people on the planet because they need an army of order followers. So that's what we get. Fab Daddy, to understand why people do what they do is a gift. Not many have. There's our Marburg already. What's happening, friend? This is a First Amendment issue. Doesn't that make original jurisdiction the U.S. Supreme Court? I don't think it makes any court have jurisdiction over our right to speech. The other dimension, they were only following orders in Germany too. Yeah, and so we know where that's headed. We know where it's going. We see it daily. I'm just doing my job. I swear an oath to the Constitution. Oh, funny story. Let me tell you guys this. You want to hear another story? Okay, let me back up. That whole channel, Tommy G. Are you guys familiar with that channel? I'm sure you are. He's got over 1 million subs. And the dude puts out a call and he's coming to Denver. And he wants to go to trap houses and talk to homeless people. I email the guy. I'm like, if you want to tell some stories of homeless folks, there's some folks. The guy never responds to me. I didn't figure he would. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to go Google to see who is the biggest on social media on the topic. And lo and behold, this guy comes to Denver and does a documentary based on a bunch of people that are anonymously creating accounts on social media to literally destroy the homeless. I mean, just destroy them. These are people in hiding. These are people making all kinds of false accusations. We advocates out here that work directly with the people have proof that O'Neill is involved with turning over photos to these people. Yeah, right? And so this is who this Tommy G comes to Denver and connects with. And somebody made a post on my community tab and asked me if I'd gone and watched this Tommy G documentary. Hey, Matt, what's blah, blah, blah? You can leave. You don't have to be here. Leave. Bye. So I went and watched this documentary, and this dude shows up and goes into the heart, into downtown Denver, into the most hardcore areas of drug use and drug dealing. And let me tell you a little secret, okay? The homeless aren't dealing drugs, okay? The bangers and the big-time dealers are showing up in these areas and giving the homeless their drugs. Are the homeless choosing to stay addicted and do these drugs? Of course they are. We can have that philosophical conversation all damn day long, okay? But this guy comes and highlights those areas and makes fun of the homeless. And then goes and interviews all the bangers that are dealing the dope and hides their faces. Yeah. Clicks and views. YouTube. Hello. Is addiction real out here? It absolutely is. It is a public health crisis. Look at all the response we had to the make-believe public health crisis when COVID was announced. But we can't address addiction and homelessness. That would mean we'd have to eliminate all kinds of government if we solved that issue, right? So what do? We make fun of the homeless. We wrap around all these advocates out there that are on this Tommy G video that are begging the police and government to take more criminal action on the homeless, as you've got this big YouTuber with 1 million subs making fun of the homeless and addiction issues. Some homeless man, it looked like a woman to me, and he's calling him a man, is running out of the public library down on Broadway, on Lincoln, and having some kind of manic episode. Okay, that shit is not funny. It's dangerous. Something is going on. They're not well, and they're about to run into traffic and get hit. And this guy's just sitting there recording it, making fun of it. And if you think I'm impressed with Tommy G's visit to Denver, I'm not. You're a fucking asshole. And do us a favor. Don't come back. You prick. On that note, the other day, when it was nearing 100 degrees, I had some frozen water bottles, and I was giving them out to folks. And I talked to a woman. And she was fine, and I gave her the water. And we had just a brief interaction, and she sat down and thanked me and guzzled this water. And I thought, oh boy, I hope she's drinking enough. But I had given her 2 bottles, so I figured she'd drink more. I leave that area and I go over to the Civic Center, and I'm in the parking garage, and I come out of the parking garage, and she's standing on the corner, lifting up her shirt, taking her shoes off, throwing them out in the street. She's got a pile of rocks, and she's throwing them everywhere, and she's screaming, and she's cussing, and the next thing you know, she's completely topless, and she's screaming and carrying on. And I'm in my car, and I rolled my window down, and I knew I had just had interaction with her, but something was wrong. She very likely probably went and got high, and then made her way over to the light rail, and was going to get on light rail and leave the area. Englewood is its own little interesting hub of people that make it into this city to either hang out because they're homeless or deal dope. I had a banger approach me the other day and try to deal me dope. Right here in Englewood. And I was in a safe situation, but the fact that this dude picked me out of a group of people tells me 2 things. They're literally dealing with that kind of freedom to people they don't even know, who doesn't even matter how they look. I'm having a conversation with another homeless man, and he and I are dressed way differently than all the other folks. These are facts. It doesn't have anything to do with judgment. It has to do with intelligence. And I see this dude walking around, a head on a swivel all the time. And he walks right over to me as I'm talking to this other very stout dude. We're not going to have any problems. But he walks over to me and asks me if I'm all right. And I looked at him, and he knew better, but he wouldn't leave. He came around the other side of us as we were having our conversation. And both my friend and I stopped, And I looked at him, and he had a pipe in his hand. And he said, "You sure you guys all right?" And my friend, I looked at him, and he's like, "Dude, leave." And he left. But this dude was there specifically to deal. And he wasn't dressed like anybody else. Okay? So my point in all of this is, where's the dope coming from? What is it? And what are the end results? You're seeing it in the homeless community. Because we won't address the public health crisis. And I take it very serious. Because it's very detrimental. And a lot of people are never going to get out of this cycle because of government. There are some people that have had some major successes. And we're going to talk with one of them. My friend Mike. He did some time. He's out here, changed his life around. He's working. We're gonna have a meeting with Mike. But back to this woman. So I knew something was up. Well, I was by myself. I can't call for help in Englewood. Remember, what's gonna happen if Regan calls 911 in Englewood? So I'm driving by this woman, and she's completely naked, topless, not completely naked. I rolled down my window a little bit, and she's standing at a distance, flipping me off and screaming. I rolled down my window. I said, "Girlfriend, put it back on." I said, "The cops are coming. You put your shirt back on." She lost her shit. And she started throwing rocks, and she was acting like she was going to come over to my car, but then she'd back up. I've been through this before. I understand it. I'm not going to get out and engage with her. I go across the street, and I park. And I'm watching her to make sure she's safe. I'm thinking that Allied Security is going to come make their rounds. And ultimately, I had to reach back out to Allied and say, "I'm not going to get any help from the cops. You guys got to get out here. She's about to get run over up on Hampton," which is a literal highway, which was just a half a block from where she was. There were some traffic cones up there. She's throwing them out into Hampton and then trying to go out onto Hampton and get them. She's screaming at people in their cars. People are getting out of their cars, wanting to fight her. She's got no shirt on, right? And so Allied decides to make their own decision and call Englewood PD. And these are the times where you need medical help, and you're not going to get medical help, right? You're going to get criminalization. So the cops show up, and they ultimately handcuff her, and off they go with her. And they won't tell me what they're doing with her. They give me a case number. So anyway, my point to all of that is, if your judgment is that impaired about really what is going on out here, stay out of homelessness. Don't bother. Just keep driving. Act like you never saw it. If they're not on your property and they're not physically putting you in danger, just ignore it. Okay? Please. Don't be this asshole and come to Denver and do what this Tommy G did and promote all these assholes in government behind the scenes that are doing these things to these people to keep them down. It was very sad and tragic watching all that go down. All that woman needed was a co-responder. Do you think Englewood brought a co-responder? Oh, way after the fact. The co-responder shows up, gets out of the vehicle, sees that she's in the car in handcuffs, and off they all drive. Well, I don't even really want to know what happened to that woman, because I have a feeling I'm going to go down another rabbit hole, just like what happened to the guy that assaulted another person in the Walmart parking lot that should have been put on a hold, who was never put on a hold. I just can't keep doing it. I can't keep doing it. It's a tragic situation. People are dying. I'm already having to come back full circle and come to grips with Phil being back here out on the street, and the mayor's office telling me to fly kite. Regan, we're not going to help you. We're not going to help you get that 65-year-old man off the street, even though we have space. He could go into the micro community that Joey went into, that Kimmy went into, where they gave us advocates 2 spots to make referrals. My referrals were good. My people are doing good. And there's still space in that micro community. They deliberately sent Phil back out on the street. I hate these people. And I try not to hate. But they are literally killing these people. While all of society sits around, you worthless drug addicted bum, go get a job. And they do it from behind the computer. They do it from their car. They sit and make videos of them. It's sick. It's super, super sick. So welcome to my channel if this is your first time being here. If you don't like it, leave. It's really that simple. You should help, not hurt. So that's about it. Any questions from any of you? Weed is bad for you. Yeah, sure. Hi, Jesse from Loveland. How are you? Malberg, maybe you could advocate to make homeless a disability. They are all afraid of ADA and comply quickly. Yeah, except, a lot of folks that are homeless are already on disability. I mean, we're not even talking about the people that have lost their housing. People that are on disability, that are living on the streets with disability. No, BZ. How are you? Hey, dude, sorry I left your stream early. I got a phone call. I was in there. Thanks for the wrench. I appreciate that. You guys, you're talking about weed and opioids and all of this shit. Do you know what kind of junk they're dealing out here? We're beyond those discussions. These people are so heavily addicted. Yeah. It is a public health crisis. Dennis, okay, let's go with this. You're not, oh no, bring him back, Irish. That's okay. Dennis, I'm not trying to sound insensitive, but the bottom line is the government is not responsible for your and our health and welfare. Look, I couldn't agree more with that statement. I couldn't agree more with that. But we have a social welfare system that even you, Dennis, pay into. So what do you want to do about that? Do you want to go ahead and categorize every single person that's living in homelessness as unworthy of any of the social welfare system? Email me. My email is regan@helpinghandsfordignity.org. I like having logical, real conversations. I want to understand what your solutions are if it's not government. Look, I'm very libertarian. I think government needs to get completely out of the business of social health and welfare. But here we are. What are we going to do? Fab Daddy, more harm prevention. In what fashion? So harm reduction already gets a bad rap because of the messaging around harm reduction. We have harm reduction in Denver. They shot down opening safe injection sites. This is another huge philosophical conversation about how to bring people to the table to even begin to talk to them about healing and recovering from addiction. Everybody's convinced that harm reduction is simply keeping people high. The people are so stupid about harm reduction. I don't want that near me. I get that away from me. Jesse, I think the majority of Americans cannot afford a $400 emergency. I think you are very correct about that. And thank you when Obama got involved in healthcare. Thank you so very much for Obamacare. Look how well it's working. Denver's public hospital system is collapsing. They have to have a tax increase on the ballot in November. Now, why? Well, because we brought a bunch of people over here and let them cross the border, and we said, you can have all this stuff, right? There's that philosophical conversation. We can go down an intense rabbit hole. While Phil, who was a working American for a lot of years and is struggling with severe mental health issues, is sent back out onto the street to die. Stephen, I should not run for governor. I would be assassinated. Look, if people do not have a place to stay, look, I could get behind Johnson's plan if it didn't cost $150 million to provide temporary housing for 1,400 people. I could get behind his plan of the tiny home villages. Everybody's familiar with that. Okay, so we have those safe outdoor spaces, and they were built on public land, right? Everybody pays for this, and so now we have a place for people to go. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, you keep giving them everything, and there's no expectations, and this is low barrier entry. Okay, listen, come out here. You decide how you're going to help someone that has addiction issues while they're living out here on the streets. Number one, I just map out your plan for me. What are you going to do? Kill them or incarcerate them? Those are your choices. You cannot rehabilitate a drug addict out on the street. Fact. Fab Daddy, behave. Behave. What, public service announcements? What, reduction is the right word, but prevention, like PSAs, aren't bad either. Look, we had that. We had Nancy Reagan's DARE program. It didn't work. Okay, Sync for Life, SNC for Life. You're trying to help your sister out by throwing away her vapes and weed? Why? Is she homeless? Or you just don't like that? What's the issue there? Jen Chu, can't get sober in jail either. Thank you. Hey Danny, how you doing? No, I'm not doing that great of a job. I mean, I can articulate these things and I can talk about these things, but I don't want to do direct street outreach anymore. I can't. I mean, handing out bottles of water and talking to people, yeah, I can do that from time to time. Not in Denver. That's not going to happen. But I cannot spend any more time fighting with government. I can't do it. I'm going to lose my mind. And I'm just... The most vulnerable population remains out here on the streets. Look, people, I don't know why people aren't all excited and celebrating. There's no campers, there's no tents, there are small pockets of encampments in Denver, but other than that, if anybody's left on foot here, they're deep in hiding. So everybody should be super excited. Now we're dealing with the most mentally ill and addicted in small concentrated areas like downtown, right? Where there's no tents and there's fencing all around the parks and nobody can go into any parks or use any public land and all of that. Yeah, that's all great. Everybody loves Denver. Yeah, not. But now is coming the phase in the Johnston administration where they're going to work real closely and secretively with the Department of Public Safety, and they are going to start putting those people on involuntary holds. And it's going to be ugly. All right, sing for life. Yeah, whatever. You're just, that's ridiculous. Ignore. These vertical streams bring in like stuff I don't really like. Sorry about this. I thought that I had gone into advanced settings and changed that to a horizontal stream, but I guess not. Marburg, here's the rub on addicts. They're your family, your community, and you act like they're monsters. Instead of giving them the love, dignity, and respect they don't get, they turn to drugs. Yeah, you're right. And I'm going to tell you, here's another quick story. I stay in contact with a mom in Philadelphia, and her son is here. And he's young. He's just 30. And he is extremely mentally ill, and it's very hereditary. And he's caught deep in addiction. And so I do put myself in her shoes. That is her son. And I am her only communication here. If she doesn't hear from her son, I want to be there for that mother. She loves that child dearly. And he was exceptionally successful. He was pre-med. He was in college, doing well. Something shifted really hard. Bipolar. How do people that don't want to be medicated start treating themselves? Well, they self-medicate. And then they're done. And so this young man has been in and out of jail everywhere, in every jurisdiction in the metro area. And they hold him for a while. He gets no help. His mom reaches out to the medical director of Denver's jails, gets just fucking ignored, tossed to the side. She's written city council. Not one city council member in Denver or their aides have responded to this mother. It's sick. It's disgusting. She wants to get him out of here. She just needs some support and help, and she wants to understand why all these services that Denver sells just aren't applying to her son in any way. And so he matters to me, and she matters to me. And that guy continues to live homeless out here. And he's not worthless. He's sick. He is sick. And this is what we're doing to people that are sick. Aren't we awesome in America? Why do immigrants want to come over here? Oh, that's right. You get a bunch of other free stuff. Yeah, my bad. Keith, nobody cares nowadays. Sad. Yeah, a nation is defined on how it treats its weakest, sickest, and poorest. I say that all the time. We've defined ourselves pretty well. We're pretty fucking cruel. It's pretty disgusting. And the amount of violence that the homeless endure out here, yeah, it's intense. And the times that they're ignored, and yeah, whatever. You gonna believe a homeless person? Yeah, I'm gonna unravel that. I would like to listen to that homeless person. Yeah, I would. Mama lost Rhonda. Even those that have housing play hell getting mental health care. Oh yeah, most definitely. I don't know. I guess we're a nation of the mind doesn't get sick ever. I don't know. Now we could have a lot of philosophical discussions about the differences between coping skills and true mental health. And I do think that we've done a very poor job by allowing the indoctrination system to teach our kids that they're going to navigate the world without coping skills and use the term mental health. I'm not down with all of that. I'm just not. It's just like the whole service animal thing, how it destroyed that concept that people needed when they truly needed that help. And we took it and we made it completely something that wasn't, based on how things make you feel and whether or not you have coping skills to deal with your feelings. That's entirely separate of true mental health. So we got a little bit of buffering. Dennis, first one needs to understand what addiction is. It's not just something that can be fixed by making a wise decision. Thank you. Should we go see if we can find some more cops in Englewood? Hey, coppers, where are you hiding? Yeah, nobody wants to listen to me talk. They want to watch me watch cops. Arrest her. Give us some clicks and views, Regan. We want to watch you get arrested. I've been staying away from the tubes of you. I love YouTube for documentation, but I don't like being married to YouTube. I just don't. My channel could be very, very large. It wouldn't take me long to make it very large. But then I become married to it. And then I become a performer for you, for clicks and views. I refuse. This is who I am. And we're just documenting stuff. So if you want to be a subscriber and follower, you can do that. But don't expect me to be married to you for entertainment. Yes, Fab Daddy, I know you thoroughly enjoy me giving cops crap. But they do get 30 seconds, right? I mean, they get 30 seconds to earn the performance. Let's go see if we can find some. You want to? We'll check it out. Okay, hold on. I got to respond to a couple things here. We're going to go see if we can find some cops. Sherry, you want me to come to Colorado Springs? No, I can't do it. If you're in Colorado Springs, get your camera out and you do it. Please. Oh, oops. We had music. Sorry. Oh, one of the things the librarian said to the cop when Englewood was over there interviewing her about how victimized she was. She's like, I didn't know that you make money off of YouTube. And she's talking about making money off her YouTube channel. Yeah, my monetization on 22,000 subs. She's real educated. And she said, I was watching her channel one day. Mind you, taxpayers are paying this librarian to watch my YouTube channel because she's obsessed with me having been in the library a total maybe 6 times in the past 5 years. So taxpayers are paying this librarian, and this one makes like her salary. I think she's the one that makes $110,000 a year. So that's what you're paying the librarian to do, you guys in Englewood, taxpayers, is to watch Regan Benson's YouTube channel because she's obsessed. She says that I just got obsessed with her. But anyway, she goes on to say that she was shocked that you could make money on YouTube. And she got in her car one day and she's telling this story like it's a big secret. She got in her car and she was live streaming and she turned on the radio and she was like, oh shoot, there goes my monetization. I was like, wait a minute, so she's making money off of this too? This is a librarian. This is somebody that's supposed to probably be educated in all, social media platforms, right? People come in to use the library and technology, and she should know these things, right? Oh, no, she only knows what she knows from YouTube by watching Regan Benson's channel because she's obsessed. I'll publish that body cam footage at some point. But right now, I could talk about the case. I just can't, blow the case. But they're going to learn a lot about the First Amendment, those librarians that make $110,000 a year to talk this kind of shit. These bitches in this Englewood library are a trip. They are a gaggle of control freak bitches. Let's hang out here for a minute. See what we see. We're in the shade. So, yeah. And so then during this same body cam footage interview with the librarian, the cop, the top gal cop, says, well, we've got to give Regan Benson an ejection from the library. This is long overdue. So you back to talking about the unauthorized practice of law. This cop is now the attorney for the librarians, and she's telling them that she confirmed and okayed it with Sergio, the other city attorney upstairs, this other freaking idiot out of Tamara Niles' office. Yeah, we've confirmed we're going to go ahead and give her an exclusion, an ejection from the library. And why haven't we already done this? Because she has been given way too much latitude. Why is Regan Benson being given so much latitude in this library? I shit you not, you guys. These dumb bitches. And this was like 40 minutes. Just this one segment of the body cam footage of these bitches in the library trying to just drum up all this emotional trauma and drama about the 6 times I've been in the library over the last 5 years. And one time I wasn't wearing a mask and she called the cops on me after chasing me around the library, and I have it on video. This dumb bitch doesn't even remember that I was recording her. You're going to put this mask on or you're going to leave. Chasing me around the library. And I turned around with my camera. I said, no, I'm not going to put that mask on. Well, you're going to have to leave. Well, you're going to have to call the cops because I'm not leaving. Oh, I'm gonna. She calls the cops. They show up in masks. They know better. There were 2 good cops on that call. And then this supervisor showed up, and I don't know, I think he got stupid and tried to entertain the librarian and her feelings. I have a feeling she was crying. I think she was crying to the sergeant that showed up from the Englewood PD because they would not throw me out of that library or give me a ticket. I don't know what the hell this crazy bitch wanted. But sorry, we're at a public library. You are not in control of my health. I don't give a shit what the governor said. This isn't law. You're not going to force me to wear a mask. I'm not doing it. And these hell-bent lunatics, librarians in Englewood especially, were just hell-bent on making people comply. This is what happens to people when they went through high school and all this social awkwardness and nobody accepted them and they became these little control freak bitches. These were those little group of girls, right, in junior high that would go up to the popular girls, right, the cheerleaders, and just slap them across the face, shit like that, and then go tell and say that they were being mean to them. Those are the kind of people that become librarians. I'm sorry, but it's true. And so that's what we got here in Englewood. We got a gaggle of bitches that couldn't quite fit in somewhere in their upbringing, in social acceptance. So they became a librarian in a government setting, and somebody gave them a title and said, you've got control of the library, so do your best. It's okay if you break the law. It's okay if you call the cops on people. Just respond to your feelings, because that's what libraries are about. We come to libraries to feel. This is what I'm talking about, between the difference between true mental health and coping skills. The wasted ape, we hating on librarians until we move on to teachers. Boom! Good one, Snarky. You really want me to? I've got years and years. There was this one time the high school principal banned me from my children's high school. True story. Gave me a trespass notice. You can't come here because we're not going to listen to you anymore. We'll take your children and the PPR, the per pupil revenue that comes with your children. We're not going to teach them shit. There's not going to be a lot of expectations for them. We're going to suspend them as much as we possibly can, and we're going to serve you a trespass ticket, Miss Benson, and so you can't come here. Turns out the cops never arrested me over that one either. Do you want to talk about the teachers union next? Oh man, I could tell you some stories. Actually, teachers make a lot of money. No, they don't. These poor teachers. You've got tenured teachers that have been teaching for 15 years, making $130,000 a year, and none of their students can pass a standardized math test. And you've got poor Sally that just graduated college, and the school district's only going to pay her $35,000, and she's got her master's, and this other person who's making $130,000 has their master's too, but the teachers union protects tenure, and nobody can figure out why new teachers who may be better than tenured teachers deserve more pay. But those teachers go ahead and make that decision to go into teaching and go into a school district that is ran by teachers unions, and then they bitch and whine and cry that they just spent 6 years in college and they're only starting out. $35,000 was an exaggeration on the low scale. They're only starting out at $65,000 a year, and they should be making $100,000 a year. You people that want to defend teachers, have at it. But you never want to talk about the fucking union. The same in policing. And I don't feel sorry for librarians either. All the cops went and hid. They're gone. Oh, I take that back. Here's one right now. Uh-huh. She quick turned on her turn signal. Uh-huh. She's the one that was out on the call with Robert. That gave Robert his ticket. Instead of calling co-responders. Well, I take that back. Co-responders had already been there. They left. They weren't co-responders. It was all health. The actual contracted mental health for Englewood showed up and just couldn't make a connection with Robert, so they just left him to die on the bench when it was going to get 15 below. I don't know how in the world I got Robert off the bench, but I did. I said to Robert, Robert, you won't go to a congregate shelter because you're afraid of getting attacked. You're an older individual and you're afraid all your stuff is going to get stolen. And so your mental health is not well, and you don't realize that you're about to die tonight because the temperature is going to be too low for you to be out here. So what could I possibly do in my mind as a person who has worked with the homeless with no formal training in recognizing mental health issues? What could I possibly do for this man that the all health workers could not do for him? They get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in a contract that the taxpayers in Englewood pay for. What could this stupid little advocate out here who wants to help some people, what could I possibly do to save this man's life? I know. I'll get in my car and drive away. Yeah, that's what I'll do. And I'll just go get my check. It's Friday, and I'm going to go to the bank and go home and stay warm. And, oh, I left that guy on the bench. Yeah, he'll probably be dead by Monday, so then I won't have to deal with it, right? Yeah, totally. That's what you should do. Yeah, Snarky, that's coming next, right? Total deep psychiatry. I think I would have to offer up meds for that, wouldn't I? I can be like a card reader, a tarot reader. I read Robert's mind right there on the street, is what I did. I don't think you need a license for that. Do you probably need a sales tax license, something like that? So I said to Robert, Robert, would you get off of this bench if I put you in a hotel room so you had a room to yourself tonight? And we could explore why you're telling me your foot hurts. And you could have a shower and a bed and some food. Would you get off this bench tonight? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll do that. All right, let's do that, Robert. Yeah. Not Englewood. Not Englewood, the All Health, and the hundreds of thousands of dollars that they pay the practitioners to come out here and be able to navigate how to get a person off a bench who's about to die and has been refusing shelter for 2 days. What do we do? Just leave him. Let him die. This is what I'm talking about. This is the world of homelessness. Let's see how many cops come by here. Drinking and driving. I'm really not driving. I'm only drinking. Joy. Bye, Bill. Thanks for stopping by. Irish, you're the best. You're the best at what you do. Snarky. If Regan appeared unreasonable, they would put her on a 72-hour hold. You think Englewood would try that? That would be a hoot. That would be a hoot. Take all my rights away and lock me in a hospital. We'll go with that for 72 hours. The wasted ape. How do you know he's about to die? Well, do you remember back in January? I don't know if you're from Colorado or not, but back in January, on January 10th to be exact, the temperature was like, I think the high was like 45, and that was the night that it was going to plummet like 25 degrees in about 2 or 3 hours, and the wind was blowing, and the overnight low was forecasted at 10 below. That's why I knew he was about to die. And the rest of the story is he already had frostbite. And he lost his foot. He had it amputated. And still to this day, which, by the way, for those of you that know and continue to follow, I just saw Robert Monday. Yes, it was Monday. The recuperative care facility that he's in, apparently, I don't know why, but they're awfully reliant on me. Probably because I keep doing, because it's Robert, and I feel obligated, even though I'm not the one billing Medicaid and the state for all of his health care. Nobody got him to his prosthetic appointment. So I took him on Monday. And of course, come to find out, the prosthetic people would go to the recuperative care if they were to get a call from the medical staff there. Of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm just an errand runner. But I do enjoy spending time with Robert, so I'm okay with it to a point. It's the expectation piece of what they want out of me. Not what Robert wants or what Robert needs. That's an aside. I'm going to make sure Robert gets what he needs. But Robert is declining in his mental faculties. And it's really hard to watch because his placement isn't happening like it should to get him into assisted living. So I'm worried about that. And, you know, we had the Amazon wish list for Robert, and Angry Vet bought him the fridge. We were wanting to just have a little mini fridge because they close the cafeteria at certain hours, and Robert can't go access ice and different things like that. And he likes cold drinks, and he would like to eat some things that could use a little refrigeration, and he's very picky about eating. So he's really not going into the cafeteria and eating. He's continuing to lose weight, which is very concerning. But anyway, his case manager said, you can't give that fridge to Robert. Really? Why not? And this is the case manager that gets to control whether or not Regan can go in the building or not. So, you know, I had a small little disagreement with his case manager over that. And so I had to go take the fridge that they never gave to him, that they kept in a storage room and didn't tell me after one of my donors had paid for that, right? The fridge went missing and then it reappeared. So I'm not very happy about that. And the fact that Robert, if he had this fridge, would not be taking up anybody's personal space. It would be in his own personal space. There's not any electrical issues. His case manager's reasoning was, this isn't housing. Yeah, I realized that. So why don't you get him into his housing? Didn't quite say it like that. But yeah, so I think Robert has become kind of a lucrative resident of the recuperative care place. But the alternative is that they would throw him out on the street. So Regan should probably just play along nicely and continue to remind Robert that I promised him that he would not be back out on the streets, and he hasn't been back out on the streets since January 10th, the night I took him off that bench. So, yeah, it's kind of hard to watch some of this decline with Robert, but he's a sweet man, and he deserves to have a foot that he can walk on. He's still on his knee scooter, and it's becoming an impossible task in his mind for him to get through his daily tasks of bathing or other things. So I'm trying to fill in for that, and it's become hard. We're just going to see if we can see some cops. We're going to move from this spot next. Well, we see cops, but we want to record cops. We want ENGLEWOOD to show us how good they are at being cops. Here's another interesting story I came across the other day watching Englewood Cops. I was sitting in my car doing some work on my phone, and I looked in my side mirror and I saw what looked like a bike or something laying on the street where some cars were parked on the side of the street. So I'm watching my mirror, and all of a sudden some cops start coming by me, and they go over by where this bike is, and it's an e-bike. And I've got Slabby with me. We were out on an outing doing our thing, and so I go over there and I start recording. Well, long story short, this sweet young gal wrecked her e-bike. Day, I was giving out some water, and she was riding her bike to go get on light rail to downtown, and she just clipped the back of this vehicle and busted out the tail and fell. And one of the code people, who I'm pretty sure is the daughter of the super cop that went and interviewed the librarians. Yeah, the super cop's daughter is a code enforcer. Well, she saw it, so she called the cops. And she sat in her car. Well, the cops showed up. Well, this poor little gal is trying to manage this e-bike. It was over 100 degrees at this time. And the cops are being real nice to her and helping her get back on her bike, because I'm recording it. And they all get in their cars and leave, and so I'm watching this little gal, and she's all fidgety because she's nervous about getting back on that e-bike. And what was interesting is when I was recording her reaction, she smiled at me really big and put her hands up like, thank you. And so I knew something was up with her, because when you're recording the cops and you're at your worst moment, you tend to scream at people that have a camera on you. And she didn't scream at me. And she was just this beautiful little young gal, real thin, but had this super tight curly red hair. And it was just captivating. It was beautiful. And so the cops had left. She tries to get back on her e-bike, and she tips over again. And so I go over there, and I'm like, honey, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm just shaken up, and I that was an accident, and I don't know why they didn't leave my information on that car. Well, I saw one of the cops put their card on the car that she hit. And so that led me into more conversation with her. And I said, well, the cops were decent with you. She's like, I know, this time they were. And I thought, oh no. And she's kind of smiling at me, and she's missing her 2 front teeth. And she's beautiful. She's young. There's no obvious reason that she should be missing her 2 front teeth. And so I said, listen, let me just hang out with you here for a minute. Make sure you're okay. And do you need some water? And she's like, no, I've got my water bottle. And she's like, I just want to tell you thank you. And she's got a little bit of an accent. I couldn't quite figure out from where. And she's white, but she's got this beautiful, naturally bright red curly hair. Tight curls. So I knew she wasn't from the U.S. after about the first 5 or 10 minutes. But her English was very good. And she said, I just want to thank you for being there so I didn't have to be alone. I said, well, honey, that's, it's important that we film the police. She's like, it was just an accident, and I can't believe they didn't give me a ticket like last time. And I said, what happened to you last time? She said, well, I've only been in this country for about 14 months. I'm here on a visa doing my master's downtown at CU. I'm an anthropology major, and my company is paying me to come do my master's on this visa here, and I have to leave when I'm done. And I knew nothing about the United States. She's from Morocco. This young gal's from Morocco. And when I first got to this country, I got to choose Chicago, New York, or Denver to do this master's program. And so I couldn't afford any other place. She said maybe Chicago, but I didn't think Chicago would be a good place for me. And so I chose Denver. And I realized that I couldn't afford to live downtown by the school. And so I ended up living in Englewood. She told me where she lived. I'm not going to tell you. And she wasn't here but 2 months, and she admittedly doesn't understand a lot of the laws or the ways of navigating in this country. And she got hit by a car crossing the street at a very busy intersection on foot. She had come here. She was worn down. She said she was very, very sick. And she was walking over to the store from her apartment to get her prescription. And I don't know if she crossed against a light. I asked her, and she said, no, I was in the crosswalk. I don't know exactly what happened, but she got hit by a car. And she's also got a giant scar across her face. And no front teeth. She got hit by a car in Englewood, went in an ambulance, and then the cops came and gave her a ticket for jaywalking. Yeah. Turns out it was a municipal ticket, and she said when I got to court, the very first time I was supposed to go to court, mind you, she's here on a visa. The last thing I'm sure that she needs is legal trouble while she's here. She doesn't know the levels of courts. She doesn't understand some of the laws, but she went to court and they dismissed it right away. And she didn't remember the name of the person who told her that she shouldn't have been given this ticket. Right? So me and this gal now, we're in contact. And she is going to be leaving the country in August, I believe. And I ran into her again over at Light Rail the day that the woman took her shirt off and ended up getting taken in handcuffs by the cops, right? She was coming down and she's like, here you are again, recording the cops. Thank you. That was her experience here in this country. First 2 months she's here from Morocco. She's never left home. Gets hit by a car. And these frickin' cops treat her like that. And then on this particular day that I met her, she's riding her e-bike and clips the back of this car in this taillight. And I just have to wonder what they would have done to her had I not been there with the camera. This is why you must always record the police. They were nice. They, helped her get her bike up. But I don't know what information they left on the person's car that she damaged. But I talked to her the other day. And I said, has anybody contacted you about that damage to the vehicle? I just want to help her. I don't want her to get stuck with getting some kind of criminal charge and all of her work being destroyed. And she's over here on a visa, and who knows, right? She's worked hard, this little gal, and she's smart, and she's thankful and articulate. And welcome to America, Englewood, Colorado. yeah, I feel really bad for her. I really do. So, yeah, that was that interesting story I just wanted to share. Look, you guys, I think the cops are all back at the cop shop and in hiding. Toe for life, how are you? Yeah, Raymond, Robert doesn't have his own place now. That's not entirely true. I mean, he's still vulnerable being in that recuperative care place, but I'm hopeful. Fingers crossed. Yeah, Snarky, I'm sure they're trying to figure out where I'm at, right? So they can avoid the area, maybe. I don't know if they're having luck figuring where I'm at. Oh, which, by the way, I just learned something else the other day. So I watch city council meetings a lot in Englewood. I want to understand this police department. And they're doing this budget, supplemental budget type of hearing. They're getting ready to do their annual budget, right, for the city. But they're doing this supplemental thing where all the departments come to city council and say, yeah, we need some extra money. And this is what we need it for. Well, the PD, they need extra money for the service of their license plate readers that they install under the nose of city council, under the nose of the citizens. They did this like a year ago. The flock system. Yeah, this is quite the system, you guys. Quite an information sharing type of system. Did a lot of research on the flock system. And the police department needs an additional like $55,000 just for the service. The service that they have to utilize to retrieve and share the information. Yeah, so I spent some time looking for these flock license plate readers. So I figured out, I'm sure they're probably tracking my movement up and down Broadway from the flock system. I found those two readers. I don't know exactly where all the other ones are, or if there are even any more. I don't think there are. It's interesting that they would put these license plate readers on Broadway and not Hampton. I guess I'm trying to understand. Hampton is like it's highway. And so the Colorado Department of Transportation has some jurisdiction and authority over Hampton, but I can't understand why they have authority over like the lights that are in Englewood on Hampton when Englewood has cameras on those lights, but they don't have any of these license plate readers. And that's the number one thoroughfare, like from east to west for the whole metro area. So that's where you're going to catch criminals, because that's what the license plate readers are for. They're to catch stolen vehicles and get makes and models on cars, and they go after the criminals. They're not surveilling the citizenry. They're not doing things like that, people. This is America. We don't do stuff like that here. But anyway, so yeah, the cops want an additional $55,000 just for the service, for their flock system. And yeah, so that's started some new discussions over here with some folks in Englewood. I thought that was interesting, but they're putting up these license plate readers everywhere. Denver just installed 111 of them. I don't think it's the flock system, but I'm good, Toe. Doing all right. Just making a drive through this tyrannical little village of Englewood. All right, yeah. So, thoughts on pineapple pizza? Yeah, let's go eat some pizza. That sounds good. So, thanks for being in here, you guys. It's all legal. Pokemon. That's funny. These vertical streams are stupid. Sorry, didn't mean to do this. Yeah, I won't stay out here long. I appreciate that though. I like my streams that just have my faithful followers and know what we're watching and what we're looking for. So thanks for being in here, you guys. I really appreciate it. Irish Pokemon, I'm sorry that this stream was aggravating as hell. These verticals are stupid, and especially if you're moving. But everybody likes them now because they're for clicks and views, and you bring lots of people to your channel. Yeah, I don't care. Sorry, I don't know why I thought it was on horizontal before I said it. So, thanks, Snarky. Good to see you. Appreciate your commentary as always. You guys are the greatest, and I thank you all very much. We'll see you soon. Please come watch our conversation. Fluke Dog and I. Sunday, 1 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. He's captivating. He's a smart dude. It's going to be fun. Thanks, Rhonda. I appreciate that. All right, you guys, take care. Bye.